said, hey, you, can I bomb a seat?
Well, welcome everybody to Small Town Big Gays. We are the aforementioned gays who are too big for how small of a town this is. I'm Chance.
And I'm Travis.
How are you?
Lovely. How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Fantastic. Got my cute little Christmas sweater on.
Oh,
So we're nearing
some Krampus.
Krampus. We're nearing Krampusnacht, so.
Love that.
Yeah. How was your week?
Good. I was trying to remember what I did. It was a really busy week. Yeah, I had a super busy week, but a good week. Work and stand-up show and 2 drag shows.
Yeah, how'd the stand-up show go first?
Really good. Yeah.
Did you get a lot of laughs?
Yeah.
What was the best joke you told?
Oh, I don't know. There's just too many to choose from.
Because the crowd loved you so much.
I do have a good AIDS joke.
Let her rip.
So it's kind of like, it kind of takes a long backstory to get to. So I don't know if it'll be that funny if there isn't the backstory to it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you another time. It's pretty funny.
Great. We'll save that. We'll do your type 5 on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
For
It's a good one though, but
the AIDS joke?
yeah.
Or your type 5?
My what?
Your type 5.
What's that? Like my 5 best jokes?
No, like you've never heard the term type 5 before?
No.
In stand-up, like you give a type 5, it's like 5-minute set.
Oh,
Just like super, super tight, super funny.
not me.
No.
I'm a tight 20. I have a lot to say.
I was going to say nothing about you is tight.
Well, no, yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, no, I always go way over my time. Like the first round, we were supposed to go 5 minutes and I went like 9. And then the next time we were supposed to go 8 and I went like 15.
Well, you have lots to say and everyone else probably isn't as funny as you. So
True.
You're doing the crowd a favor.
Yeah, honestly, it was the best of everyone there. I'm just kidding.
I'm sure.
But I was good. I was very proud of it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And we had our drag show together on Saturday, which was fun.
Yeah, it was good considering the ice storm that we had that day.
That was not fun, but
No.
we say it every time we have a drag show, but the people who come on days like that are the ones who want to be there, which is nice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I had fun. Looking like an overgrown John Benet Ramsey, you know, loved it.
People loved your, the Chicks number, Goodbye Earl.
Yep.
People were living for that.
It's a classic,
Yeah.
you know.
How was the drag brunch the next day?
It was so good.
Was it full?
Yeah.
Good.
Sold out. Probably one of our better brunches in a while. And I think maybe it's just because there was a good amount of time since the last one. I feel like, distance makes the heart grow fonder. So yeah, it was overall lovely. They have some new staff at the Lakely and they worked really hard to make sure everything was done correctly, which is nice and helpful.
Yeah.
So
Was it Christmas themed?
Yeah.
Are you sick of Christmas themed stuff yet?
I
am.
like Christmas period. So
Oh, thank God.
immediately a no for me.
There's some,
Always.
I feel like there's people who are you're either a Christmas gay or you're a Halloween gay.
Yeah.
And you're a Halloween gay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as a drag queen though, that's like overrated too.
That's true.
It's Halloween every Saturday.
Every
for me.
weekend.
Yeah. Honestly. But no, I would choose Halloween over Christmas for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah. How was your week?
It was good. The drag show, and then my 2-year wedding anniversary was yesterday. So that was nice.
Yeah. What'd you guys do?
My husband had a long day at work, so when he got home, I had flowers for him. And then I'm a romantic. And then I made a lovely roast pork loin stuffed with garlic and rosemary and prosciutto. And then after that got finished, we took turns fucking it while sharing a bottle of champagne.
Love that for you both.
And then we threw the roast out after, of course.
Yeah. Because why would you want to eat that?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
We just had sex with that.
Yeah. Plus you're vegans, right?
Yeah. Yep. We only fuck meat. We don't eat it.
Love that. I feel like people were enjoying the episode last week where we kind of did a little more silly stuff and whatever. So I think we're going to kind of go on that pattern today, but I do have a specific subject in mind. But I feel like you had a couple. Do you want to do your things first or do you want to wait till the end with those?
Let's wait till the end to do the listener emails.
Okay. Well, so to jump in, this topic, I kind of wanted to talk about the apps /sex /DL trade. But first I want to play a little game that I thought of that I think would be funny. So I asked Chance to come up with 4 objects, and they had to be tangible objects, not like people or animals, but like things you can hold. So the game we're going to play is should I, would I, or have I? And that is, would you have sex or put these objects in yourself?
Okay, I thought this was where it was going, so I'm glad that I chose some of the things that I chose. Do you want to go first?
I didn't come up
You
with
didn't
any.
come
I
up
just
with
wanted
that?
you to do it because I knew
Okay.
what the game was, so it wouldn't be fun if
All
I
right.
just was like a plunger, because then it's like, obviously.
Obviously, I'm going to put that inside of me.
Yeah. So you just tell me one of your 4.
Okay, TV remote. Would you, could you, should you? Have you?
It depends on the remote. Like a little Roku, sure, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But
Because when I figured this was what this game was going to be. So then I was thinking about shoving a remote up my ass. And specifically, I was like, well, some TV remotes are really thick and really bulky. So then I was thinking the remote for my sound system, which is a little thinner, long, which is nice, but really sharp angles.
yeah.
But you know, it's got the buttons are like studs, ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah. You know? Should you? Probably not.
No.
Would you? Maybe.
I mean, do you remember, did you watch Tosh.0 like back in the heyday?
I like know of it, but I don't know if I actually ever watched it.
So it was like an early episode of Tosh.0. I wonder if I can still find the video of this kid who was like throwing a fit, and it was staged, but he
I know
storms
exactly
into his
what
room
video.
and then pretends to shove a remote up his ass while he's screaming.
Yes. I know exactly what video you're talking about. It's too relatable.
Yeah. So that's what I think of anytime I think of fucking a remote, which I do often.
Fuck remotes or think of it.
Think about it.
Okay.
For the people who are listening to this podcast instead of watching YouTube, I think if you're on the YouTube, you can clearly tell I'm joking. I don't fuck remotes often.
Oh yeah, I suppose I didn't think of how our sarcasm may not always read without video.
I think it
Oh, well.
comes across in video, not always in audio. But that's a good plug if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube.
You can.
Okay, next one. Pumpkin. Maybe not put it inside of you, but it was very popular on the internets for OnlyFans models to fuck pumpkins, like the past 2 falls, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with a hard pass on anything to do with a pumpkin.
You wouldn't fuck a pumpkin?
No, I don't like the smell of them.
Really?
Like carving them, like really grosses me out.
Oh, it's my favorite thing. I usually carve like 7.
That tracks.
Yeah.
So you clearly are fucking pumpkins.
I have not, but I would. I'd try it, except it'd be cold. That's
Guts-
the worst part.
Guts in or out.
In.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you need the sensation.
I want the squish. Otherwise, you're just like,
a hollow.
you know, a fucking hollow thing. For
Been there.
my problem is it would be so cold. So like,
Could
I'm not
you
going to
heat
say
it up?
no.
Put it in the oven for a few minutes.
I mean, you could, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know if you'd at least have to like bring it inside for a solid couple hours. Let it come up to room temp.
Yeah.
But like, if you've ever carved a pumpkin that's been sitting out on your like front step for a day or 2, and you carve the pumpkin and your hands get real cold. So I wouldn't do that. Bring it in, warm it up, put a nice blanket around it,
Yeah.
wine it, dine it before you before I fuck it.
Before you fuck it. You know? Have you seen like the videos of those guys who like crush them with their thighs?
Yes,
Does that turn you on?
yes. My face, please. My head next.
I don't know how I feel about it. It seems messy.
Yeah. Like just crushing a pumpkin or getting your head crushed between a man's thighs.
Both.
Both. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, and again, fucking food has been very popular among like
You.
me. No, among like Twitter gays promoting their OnlyFans, like during the fall, it was a big thing. And then I saw this one guy who got like a series of clear fleshlights and he filled them with like different types of beans. And then he was promoting a video on his OnlyFans of, it was like, let's see what food feels the best to have sex with.
I think we're on a very different part of Twitter, you and I.
Yeah.
But I love that journey for you.
I'm not into it. I'm not saying I'm into it. I'm just saying I came across
I'm
it.
just saying algorithms have a way of knowing what people like.
Yeah, that's true.
And
yeah, that's true.
so far, you've talked about people fucking pumpkins and beans, and I have never once seen either of those on my Twitter.
I'll send you some links. Don't worry.
Oh, perfect.
All the cool kids are on Blue Sky now anyway. So,
True.
Yeah.
I'll get there in about 5 years.
Late adopter.
I'm old. So,
yeah. Okay, next one. Toy lightsaber. I'm not talking the modern. I guess when I'm specifically talking toy lightsabers, I'm talking toy lightsabers when I was a kid, which were, I think, objectively better than the ones now because I don't know that you can battle as fiercely with the more modern ones. I think they're more fragile.
Are they like the ones where you'd like go like this and it'd like flick out to the long?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be hard to have intercourse with because it would just slide in but not slide in. If you know what I'm
sometimes
saying.
If you pull hard enough, as with anything, if you would pull hard enough, they would get like stuck there, and then you had to like stab them into concrete to get them to collapse again. So I'm thinking you flick it out really hard, and then you give it a good pull, and then I mean it's tapered until you get to the end of that first section, I guess though, and then there's like a ledge that would hurt.
Could you get to the second ledge? I feel like it was pretty long.
I feel like the first ledge would be my stopping point.
It would be
on a good day.
It'd be your end zone.
Yes.
Yeah, I would try it. I don't know. I'm sure. Why not? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
Sounds like you feel positively.
Well, we'll get into this more later of my sexual interactions and
bottom versus top.
Yeah.
Okay, last one then. Business card. Paper cuts. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of stupid business cards I see as a business owner myself that people bring in and are like, can you leave these here? And this isn't everyone, just some people. I would like to shove them up my ass because they're so annoying. But logistically, it wouldn't feel good. But I would do it just to get rid of them.
Your ass is a black hole. You put things up there to disappear.
Yeah. I just
that makes sense.
Like some of these businesses are just wild.
I have 3 business cards.
Of course you do.
I'll bring them to the salon. I'll put them in there.
Okay.
One is for
I'm already annoyed with you.
One is my paranormal consultant card that just says Chance Smith, paranormal consultant, and then on the back is my phone number.
Cool.
And then one is for like one of the various times I've tried to get like production and photography stuff going.
Okay.
And then
I'm less annoyed with you because these are actually the paranormal's a little annoying, but this next one is
the paranormal one is necessary. I need people to let me into their haunted house. I need that.
Okay. Still really weird, but sure.
And then the third one is for an oddities market / expo that me and some friends are beginning to put on.
I will accept.
You allow it?
I'll accept them.
What's the dumbest business card you've gotten? Other than the paranormal consultant one that I'm going to give you later. I have it in my bag right now.
I'm trying to think of just like dumb ones off the top of my head. All right. So the moral of the story is if there's a will, there's a way to this game. And you should look at all the objects in your home and
as potential dildos or flashlights.
Yourself what you would do with it.
Tell us the weirdest thing you've put in your body.
My God, we should get like a nurse here sometime to tell us like the weirdest things they found in bodies in the ER in Eau Claire specifically.
I played D&D with an EMT in town here. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he has some fucked up story.
Yeah. My cousin's an emergency room nurse too. I'll ask her.
Perfect.
There's got to be some good things. But what made me think of this game is not that I'm actually sitting around my house thinking of things that I could stick inside me, because that's just not me. But you know, if you do that, I don't yuck anyone's yum. But
Yeah, we don't kink shame here.
No.
Unless it's like really weird.
Yeah. I will probably kink shame. But what made me think of this is in the dressing room this weekend, we were shoving different things up our asses before going. No, I'm just kidding. We were talking about.
I would have believed it too.
We were talking about that video back in the day of the man who was married, and he would put objects up his booty hole, and one of them happened to be a glass mason jar, and then it cracked inside of him. And he couldn't scream for help because his wife and kids were in the next room, not knowing that he was inserting this in him.
And then he was bleeding out of his
blood just like gushing out of his butt. And it's a very intense video.
Graphic early internet video.
Yeah.
I wonder if the kids these days know about that one.
I don't know, but it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
And so that made me think of, should
Putting
I?
things up your
Would
ass.
I? Could I?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Would you a glass mason jar?
Absolutely not. No.
And not just because of that video, because you get your yums in other ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I am shy to putting things there. Well, this is going to get kind of personal today, but I do have a few tragic stories that will lead into all of this. But yeah, no, I relate to more being a top. So I'm just not really super. Actually, that's more of a lie. I'm more of a side than anything.
Would you define side for me? Because that's been like a newer term, I feel like, that's come about in the last like year or so.
For my understanding of it and what I correlate it to is just like more oral sex stuff. Because like sometimes, let's just be honest, anal sex is a lot of prep work.
Bottoming is so much work.
Yeah, it really is.
Topping, not so much. Bottoming, yes.
Yeah, but topping can be work too, though, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, in its own weird way.
I mean, it's physical work, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so I think I'm more of a side. But when the time calls, the time calls. So what are your experiences in a small town with the applications? Do you have a favorite one? Do you have one you loathe going on? Or do you like use them for different experiences?
I guess I use them for different experiences. The only two I use are Grindr and Sniffies. Do you know Sniffies?
I do know Sniffies. I've been on it one time just to like see what it was about, but I've never used it.
Yeah. So if people don't know, sniffing
is a thing.
That happens. That happens there. It's the cruisier app, which is kind of fun and kind of sketch and a little weird and just as annoying as Grindr. Because I can't emphasize enough how fucking annoying Grindr is, especially in a small town where there's only so many people on it.
Yeah.
At some point after you've been on long enough, you've messaged everyone you want to message, and everyone who wants to message you has messaged you. So it's just like a silent void in my experience until someone new comes into town.
Yeah.
And then they're getting hit up by everyone. So
true.
Yeah.
So does Sniffies have a different category of people, subsect of sniffer?
Sniffies has a lot more DL.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of married dudes.
On Sniffies?
Yeah.
That
lot of straight married dudes.
Okay, because I would figure they'd be more on Grindr.
No. There's a decent amount of DL. Decent amount of DL trade on Grindr too, but like Sniffies is where it's at if you want DL trade.
All right. Interesting to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say that Grindr and Sniffies are your two most used. And which one do you get the more interaction on?
Lately, neither. I've also been on like a downswing on the apps right now because I'm busy and like it's winter now, so it's dark at 4 p.m. and hooking up with anyone is a lot of work. So I've been on like I've actually deleted my Grindr account a couple weeks ago, and I've just like, or
Is
not
it because you feel good about yourself? Because usually that's when people don't do it.
No, it was affecting my mental health in a negative way.
Oh,
That I did not expect.
okay. Well, sorry.
So
Sorry about that.
because my whole journey with I've been on like a fitness journey the past like year and a half, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gained a lot of muscle. I've lost some weight. I'm feeling good about myself. So me feeling better about myself didn't immediately coincide with a massive amount of new randos wanting to fuck me.
Mm.
And I know it doesn't matter. And the apps are super superficial and whatever. But I was like, why doesn't anyone want to fuck me?
I think they do. Maybe they're just scared of you.
I am intimidating.
You also carry around paranormal business cards, so
And I have a Ouija board in this house.
and you also have a jar of bunnies in your home.
2 jars of bunnies.
2 jars of bunnies.
And a dead lizard and a dead shark and human teeth. My
And
own.
your mom's stepmom's
My
leg?
stepmom's old fake leg, yeah.
Mhm.
You want to know the best part?
You wear it sometimes?
No, her name is Peggy.
Oh my God.
She has a fake
Peg.
leg.
Oh, good for her. Bless her heart.
Shout out Peggy. She won't listen, but she's great.
Well, I mean, that could be a reason why people are scared of you.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
I
just
don't
kidding.
show people the curio cabinet immediately.
That should be your first thing you do upon trade coming to your home. Is be like, hey, look at this. I have jars of bunnies.
Did I tell you the story about how I pulled out the dead lizard all the time? Anytime I had like any girl or guy I was seeing, I would show them the dead lizard that at the time was in my fridge or my freezer. For 5 years, I kept that thing in my freezer.
God, that's so disgusting.
And I did that to my now husband. And look, here we are.
Here you are.
5 years, 4 apartments, 3 cats, 2 dudes, and 2 years of marriage.
Cute.
1 family. And 1 dead lizard in a jar.
1 dead lizard. Okay, well, I'm sorry the apps weren't helping you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
But,
It's fine. It
that's
happens.
life. It's ebb and flow,
And it's also like winter, and I just don't got that dog in me.
Yeah.
Actually, since we're talking about this anyway, and DL trade, I did have that dog in me earlier today. And I even douched for a DL guy on Sniffies.
I was like, why are you talking about dogs being in you and douching for them? I'm like, what is...
I'm not douching for the dog.
I was like, okay.
You're so
Sir,
old.
I will yuck your yum here.
The young people, I do have a story about that also. The young people will understand what I mean when I say don't have that dog inside of me. It's a phrase.
Okay.
It's a phrase meaning I don't like have the gumption, you know?
Cool.
What's the most old-timey way to say I don't have that dog inside me? I don't feel like fucking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you could also just say that
Yeah.
instead of saying I don't have, what is it?
I don't got that dog in me.
That just sounds disgusting. Like you're letting a dog fuck
I
you.
mean, when we're talking about sex stuff, yes, it sounds disgusting in hindsight.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a phrase on the internet.
It's also just a phrase to say, I
It's
don't feel like
usually-
fucking. Why do kids always have to reinvent the fucking wheel every single time? And it's not even cool half the time. And then they try and make you feel like an idiot when it's not even cool.
Oh my God, you think I'm a kid?
No, I think you're trying to be a kid, which is even more embarrassing.
I'm
Instead
not
of
even
just
30
saying,
yet, bitch.
yeah, you're at that weird age where you're not old, but you're not young.
Yeah.
You're just gross.
Yeah.
Just
I have no idea where I fit in anymore.
Okay, cool. So, sorry, where were you going with the DL trade?
Today? Today.
Okay.
I was, because I just went on Sniffies and then some DL guy was talking and I was like, already. And then, of course, he flaked. Never trust a DL guy. Never put on a jock strap for a DL guy. Never do anything until they say they're on their way and then still don't do anything until they pull up in front of your house. Because it's the only way you know they're not going to flake.
Did you see that trend going on TikTok of me trying to be young, of them talking about not douching for DL trade and just letting them go in and
pay
do it?
DL trade. That was after the election.
I think it should happen.
I think so.
I don't know why people are concerned or care.
Out DL guys.
Yeah. Well,
not always.
Not always. I don't really care enough, but do you want to hear one of my many tragic stories of DL trade?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I have 2 Grindr accounts. One is my boy self, and then one is my drag self. I'm mostly on as my drag self just because, one, I like the attention that I get from it.
Naturally, yeah.
I feel beautiful and glamorous in it.
You are.
But 2, I also like it because truly it's a great way to reach out to community members. For some reason, people are just like more comfortable talking to
a drag queen.
And so like I actually meet a lot of friends. I know people are like bullshit, but I do meet a lot of friends and also get to help a lot of people. And you get a lot of people that like are wanting to come out but don't know how, that are on Grindr, and they kind of like seek you as a resource tool. So I like it in that way too, but mostly the attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the type where I identify as gender fluid, so I will fool around in drag, quote unquote. Like I'm not like getting in drag to fool around with people, but if I'm like after a show or something, and we can make it work, I'm down for the get down. But they need to understand that like this is a wig, these are pads, like these things all have to come off in order to do it, to make the thing happen.
Yeah.
So very honest conversations are, and honestly, I feel sexy in drag, so like
you look sexy in drag.
I love it, you know. So I had this gentleman contact me about some oral sex situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he was from Minnesota driving to his cabin somewhere in Wisconsin, and Eau Claire is kind of a pit stop very often in ways of traveling to places. And so he had told me that he was in a relationship with a girlfriend and that they were going to be breaking up because it was just kind of going nowhere and whatever. And I was like, truly, I don't need your backstory. Like, your life is your life. And
I don't fucking care about you. Take off your pants.
Yeah. Like, I don't need to do a home interview, and it's not really like my problem what you choose to do with your whatever.
Yeah.
So we engage in the fun and he leaves, and that's the way I like it. And we had each other's phone numbers, so he would like text me when he was feeling frisky, and we would have some texting and phone call interactions. And then like we tried to organize it where we would have this happen again when he was on his way to his cabin, and it just never worked out. And the last time we were trying to make it happen, it didn't work out. And then I was heading up to Duluth for a family trip. And I don't know, it was like, it was supposed to happen that morning, drove to Duluth, and it was probably like midnight. And I was like laying in my bed, and my family is around me. And my phone starts going off. And I recognize that the area code is the same as the guy's phone number. And I'm like, this is weird, because he would never like just call me, you know, like DL trade, don't do that. So I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, I'm talking like back-to-back phone calls. And I'm like, oh God. So I just like block the number. So I'm like, first of all, this isn't going to stop. And like, I already at this point know it's probably not good.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I get another phone call from another number that's like a similar area code. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I block that one, go to bed, wake up the next morning. A third phone number with a similar area code is calling, and I'm like, okay, like they're not going to let go of this. And I'm like, I already at this point, like I know it's something to do with this particular man, and I'm a business owner. My phone number, my like everything about me is on the internet, so it's very easy to find me. So I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with this situation whether I want to or not. So let's just answer the phone and see what's going on. Oh, and I get a text that's like, hey, I know you know my husband. Can you call me? Yes. So then I'm like, okay, well, clearly husband didn't know that was a thing. So I'm like, fuck, so I have to call this person. I'm freaking out, of course, because I don't like confrontation like that. And I don't think anyone would.
This is like the worst kind of confrontation.
Yeah. So I call this woman who is in tears, crying, obviously. And I'm like, hello. She's like, hi. I was like, yeah, like, what can I do for you? And she's like, well, I think you know my husband. And I was like, well, I think we both know that. Yes. And she's like, I can't remember what she said, but I remember saying, like, you know what's going on here. Cause like, obviously I have a more male presenting voice. And she was like, well, I think this is so embarrassing. She's like, I think you're the beautiful blonde he has saved in his phone. And I was like, well, that is me sometimes. Yeah. And she's like, I don't blame him. You're so beautiful. And I was like, okay, now I feel horrible, but you are so correct, ma'am. But I'm feeling like the biggest piece of shit. Come to find out, this man was having we were having our enjoyable times while his wife was pregnant, who was a teacher, an elementary school age teacher, and had no clue this was happening. Yeah. So she actually ended up being very lovely. We had a nice conversation, but I was mortified beyond belief because I felt bad. Like, how do you do that to your wife? Again, I'm not surprised by it. Like, it obviously happens all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not fun to be confronted by the wife at all.
Oh.
And like, also, I'm not doing like interviews before this. Like, half the time we barely know the name, and usually if it's DL, you don't
learn
even
the name sometimes.
I'm being nice with that.
No, I figured.
But yeah, so that was horrifying.
Yeah.
And then I had to like explain to my family why I was on the phone. And it was just.
Did you make something up, or did you tell them?
No, I told them. I don't care. I don't really like lie to my family and just tell them what's going on, and they know pretty much everything about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, so that was really a fun time. And then actually I was like, I have blocked his number because like he wasn't even that fucking cute. That's the worst part about it. Like, he was very mid. Like,
yeah.
Just
as DL trade often is.
Yeah. If he was like super hot, I'd be like, whatever, this was worth it. But he was not even worth it. So I blocked his ass. And then like, I don't know, 6 months later, I get a text from another number that's just like, just seeing if my husband's contacted you. And at this point, like, now I'm just like frustrated with this woman because like, you seem sweet and nice, and I'm sure you're trying to just like make your family work to like have this thing. But like, at some point you have to have self-respect to know like, okay, your husband is clearly hooking up with a man. Yeah. At least like, I may not have been masculine presenting, although I'm pretty sure I was when we hooked up. I can't remember it, to be honest. It was a really long time ago, but clearly he's having some thoughts.
Yeah.
And if it was me, it's more than likely more than just me. And if you can't trust him to move on from that situation and you're still thinking about it 6 months later, it's probably a sign to move on from the situation. So I was like, I told you I blocked his number. It's blocked. I have no interest. Also, ma'am, the dick was not that great and he wasn't that cute. So it was more than fine to block.
Move on, sweetie.
Yeah. And you should move on too.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You don't need to be sorry for me. I feel sorry for her, but yeah. That
is the thing with DL trade is you never
know.
You never know. And honestly, it's not as like not DL trade participating in that thing. It's not our fucking problem, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a weird moral compass that I deal with.
It is. It's a gray area for me too. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like the DL trade, not you. The DL trade is like, you're dealing with something, you're either not comfortable with your sexuality or you don't feel safe enough to come out or whatever, but you are contacting me, an open queer person, for sex. If you're in a relationship or, whatever is going on with you is not my problem. I'm not asking for a reason. I'm just here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here doing stuff. It's not my job to do, like you said, it's not our job to do an interview with them.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to be Oprah Winfrey. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not my decision to have to go through and do a background check on these.
And it's like,
gentlemen,
there's also, I see sometimes on the internet, people, well, what if you give them an STD or whatever? It's like, they're assuming the risk by fucking raw. Again, their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
I get tested. I know my status.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's a wild wild west out
Wild,
there.
wild
you know?
west.
And the thing about it is there's like so much DL trade. Like I think the chances of someone you know, i.e. your husband or boyfriend, there's probably a good chance they've been on one of the apps.
There's a solid chance anyway.
I have so many stories about this. We could probably go on for hours of just wild shit about this.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we just want a full hour of my horribly tragic life exposed quite yet.
What is it about like DL trade that gets, what is it that's so attractive about it? Because it is like a universal, not universal, obviously, but it's a very popular thing in the queer community, to the point that after the election, the whole joke was paint DL trade, out DL men, because it's the DL guys that are fucking other dudes.
Yeah.
And then voting for Trump against the interests of the dudes that they just fucked.
I did have one DL guy that I blocked after the election that I was like a regular hookup. Because he had just like kept posting some really absurdly dumb shit. Like I'm fine with people having a difference of opinion than me, and whatever. Like we all have our opinions on different things, but like this was just like absurdly wild. And I'm like, okay, you want to keep hooking up with me, but having these opinions,
but you keep posting them online, too, which is like, I mean, that at the end of the day, we live in a small town. We can't escape those kinds of people.
Yeah,
we kind of have to
deal with them. Yeah,
we have to get along somehow.
Yeah, I think for me, probably the appeal is just like in our smaller town, we all know each other. So it's like, and this might sound condescending. I'm pretty well known, obviously, in the community.
Yeah.
From drag and all the other things that I do. So I think a lot of people just like are intimidated by me and like know me. So like I think that just takes the sex thing out of it, which is fine and whatever. And I'm also like a very motherly type person. So like I immediately like friend zone people very fast and like don't look at them in a sexual way very quickly. So like take a very small cesspool of people in this community already. Second, I'm old and half of the community is college students or older people.
Yeah.
Not really like mid-aged people.
Yeah.
So take that small, make it even smaller. Then now I do drag, which a lot of queer people have an issue with. So that dwindles that down to one other person in this town. And more than likely it's someone I'm related to or another drag queen.
Yeah.
So basically there's like no one to have sex with except for DL trade. So that's where we go with that. Yeah. So I think it just kind of comes from a necessity. And then also like just, I don't want to think about people who have hooked up with my friends, but that's the other thing too, is there's a lot of DL trade in this town that like fetishize a lot of us, like especially the queens in town.
Yeah.
And so like we always joke because we're like, have you heard from this one? And we're like, yep. And we'll like, exchange stories about them. So this is to any DL trade listening to this, which there probably is some, to be honest.
We're all talking about you.
We are talking about you and sharing our experiences. And we know if you've hooked up with one of our friends for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because there's a few of them that are notorious and we'll all be like, oh, have you heard from so-and-so? And
do you give them fun nicknames?
No, we just use their real names.
Do you refer to them as clown fuckers?
No.
Or clown chasers? Because that's my favorite term for guys that that specifically fetishize drag queens or drag performers, is clown fuckers.
No, because I am a beautiful woman and I do not look like a clown.
Right.
No. 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 Maybe we should. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I like have said it in joking, but we don't actually refer to that because we usually know their real names. They're usually dumb and they tell us.
Yeah.
Then you Facebook stalk them and
then you find out everything about them and then you make fun of them some more.
Yeah. And it ruins the fantasy very quick sometimes too, because then you find out they have kids and a wife, or some of them don't even have wives, but it's very DL trade around here to play on the semi-pro football teams.
Is it?
Yes, that's very Eau Claire DL.
Good to know. Now I have my next hunting grounds.
Yes, very DL trade.
Because I feel the same way to a lesser extent as you do about being like a prominent member of the community. Because I'm a little bit of a prominent member of the community, nowhere near the level as you are.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, I never will. You will never let me. But like so being on the apps and hooking or like trying to hook up with, you know, whatever rando, I always feel a little bit not icky, but apprehensive about.
Yeah.
Because a big part of it for me anyway is that I'm always like, are people talking about me? Which they are. Yeah. Probably. And I'm into some interesting stuff. Nothing crazy. But I have some fun. Yeah. And you know, I've always been like deeply insecure about some of that stuff. Like I was a huge bottom back in the day, and I was always super insecure about that. Did not want anyone to know I'm a bottom. Yeah. Or was a bigger bottom. I consider myself verse, but you know, I was always insecure about liking that because it's inherently seen as like feminine. Yeah. And I'm a relatively mask presenting guy. But I don't care anymore. Yeah. I like what I like. Taking it up the butt's fun. Putting it up the butt's fun.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any shame in bottoming. I mean, it's a necessary position. Yeah. And so if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you don't. That's also okay too. Yeah. And if you want to just be a side, that's great.
Go for it.
Or if you want to be an aggressive top, we love that.
Dumb top breeder.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah.
That's my name on Grindr. It should be.
Chloe Wool, Dom Top Breeder.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like all the stories I wanted to share today that are just like, honestly, they're all pretty tragic, but like not really tragic, just funny, like silly stuff. And I have a really good juicy one about, because I used to be a cosmetology educator in town here, and I have a good story about hooking up with one of my students' husbands before I knew that it was one of my students' husbands. But I'm not going to reveal that story until we actually get what's an approachable amount of likes, like 200. Does that seem fair?
Let's go. Yeah. 200
likes on some. We'll make a little clip.
Yeah.
And I will share how I hooked up with one of my students' husbands.
Yeah.
Unknowingly, I will say that, but it happened. And it's a pretty funny story, actually. So you said you used mostly Sniffies and Grinders, but there are a whole plethora of apps out there that maybe some of our listeners don't even know about.
Scruff. It's the only one I can think of.
I was like, oh, that's where we're ending. Okay.
Growler.
Bigger City, which you're not going to know about because you're not a big girl.
No.
Said for big girls? You're not a big girl.
Oh.
Yes, that's for the big ladies.
What do you know?
Where they find their love from the men who appreciate them and the other ones who are big ladies too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's something for everyone.
There's something for everyone.
I'm sure there's other ones I don't know of. So.
There's a newer one. I think it's newer anyway. It's called, I think it's called Field. FEELD. And that one is for like swingers or like kinkier people, I think. I'm not really sure. I've been seeing that on some Twitters.
So do you feel like the gay apps have hindered or helped the community, or what are your stances on them?
I mean, I think they've helped by virtue of like just having a place that brings us all together, even though that place occasionally does get invaded by straight people for some fucking reason. Because we can't have anything, can we?
It's like everything.
I think they've done a good job of bringing us to a space that's not necessarily a physical location, but I think they're also a fucking cesspool. And I hope the solar flare comes soon and takes them all out along with the rest of the internet. Although once the internet is dead, we don't have anywhere to post our
I
podcasts.
was going to say, so will this podcast.
Yeah.
Probably us. 'Cause
Well,
everyone
then
will kill themselves.
we'll transition to a live podcast, which is just a show, and we'll be a touring act.
Touring act. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you in the gay bars before apps, or no? They were already probably prevalent when you started coming out?
Yeah, they were prevalent when I started coming out. I remember downloading Grindr like as soon as I was 18, basically.
Okay.
Like fresh out of the closet and getting on there.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
Well, I was as an old
queen.
when I first came out and whatever, there was not applications, but I do remember obviously Craigslist was a huge misconnections and hookups. There was specifically where you could do like M for M or M for T or M for M. There was everything.
I remember those two. Those went away like what, 8 years ago now?
Yeah. I
R.I.P.
loved Craigslist. Oh my God. I loved it. It was so fun.
Is that mainly what people used like before the apps?
Mhm.
Because I literally don't know what it's like to be an adult in a world where there are no apps and, you know, there aren't specifically gay spaces that you can go to. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. So Craigslist was huge, but even prior to Craigslist, my God, my very first ever random hookup with someone that I like met off the internet was off squirt.org, I believe, which I thought org had to be like a charity thing, right? Like, or a nonprofit.
I think it's just, you can just call it org.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure it was
Organizations.
squirt.org.
Isn't that just a porn site?
Maybe it is now,
I think
but it was definitely a hookup thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. I met this traveling nurse
Hot.
who was older. I was freshly probably 18 or 19, and he was probably in his 40s. So little
weird.
little weird. Yeah, he had a hotel with a hot, like a whirlpool tub in it.
Cool.
That was awesome when you're
Great,
18
yeah.
years old. Like, that sounds cool. Yeah, I went to his hotel room and we enjoyed each other. And we did actually end up hooking up one or two more times after that, which it was nice, but he was a smoker, so that was kind of gross. Wasn't really into
Can't
that.
relate.
Yeah, just not my thing. But it was a interesting experience, and that was how we met, was on squirt.org. Yeah. It was all right.
I thought you were going to say Adam for Adam, because that was a website back in the day. Right?
Yeah, I think I was on that too, but I don't know if I actually ended up hooking up with anyone off that. Because then by the time, like, then I just started going to the bar and you could meet people organically that way.
In real life.
Which was always so bizarre because obviously back then I was in drag all the time. Like, I would not go out as a boy, period.
Yeah.
I was in drag 4 nights a week, which was kind of necessary because it like was how people got to know me really quickly. And you can get away with way more shit in drag than you can as a boy. So it was just also fun.
Pissing on a Christmas tree, tossing it over a fence.
Yep. Terrorizing the town. But the thing about that is like the people that were interested in you, there was very few and far between. And if they were interested in you, they were interested in everyone else who looked like you at the bar. So they would just go after whatever one of us was willing to pay them attention at the moment.
Yeah.
And you could just watch them go from
Queen
girl
to
to
queen.
girl. Yeah, just trying to make their move. And most of us were going to go for it. Yeah, so there was a lot of weird experiences with that. I do remember one of my hookups from the bar was one time. I used to also carry a knife in my purse. I don't know why. I apparently thought
Protection.
yeah, but it was like a butcher knife from the kitchen. Like, wasn't going to do anything really.
Huh.
Yeah.
How big was your purse?
Big enough to carry a butcher knife in it. Yeah. Wild and weird.
Impressive. Honestly.
Yeah. I was a wild child back then. But this gentleman wanted me to come to his hotel, which was across the river. And I was like, whatever. Sure. Let's go do it. And so he took me over to his hotel room. And this is where it got weird. So first of all, when I first started doing drag, I very much dressed like a Sunday school teacher. I like did not show off much of my body. I was always in like dresses with like full length arms, like nothing was exposed on me.
Yeah.
So the fact that he even wanted to do this was wild in the first place. But I went to his hotel room and then I just sat in the chair in the corner because I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, I was just like, whatever. And then he got completely naked and laid on his bed, to which, mind you, there was a picture of his wife on the nightstand, which is just weird that he travels around with this picture of his wife on the nightstand. But there she was. And he just looked at me and then jerked off and climaxed and then got up, grabbed a towel from the bathroom, cleaned himself off, and then opened his wallet and grabbed whatever money was in there and threw it at me. And then I left, which was $35. And then I went back to the bar and bought my friend some shots and continued on my night.
You know what? Not a bad way to make $35.
No, I just sat there. I didn't even have to do anything. Just literally sat there.
Technically not even prostitution.
No, I didn't know I was getting paid. I thought I was just doing it for free.
Yeah.
I would have done it for free too. Oh, just sat there and watched a guy jerk off.
Did he tell you that's what he was going to do when did he tell you to sit in the chair or?
No, I just sat there myself.
And you weren't like,
there was really no conversation, period.
You weren't even like, do you want me to help with that or?
No, I just watched.
He just seemed fine doing it himself.
He seemed to enjoy it.
Good for him.
He was older.
You know what?
Probably in his 60s, 70s.
Good for him.
Yeah. It was a really weird experience. And I don't even know how the conversation went to like get me to the hotel, like, which is just also weird because there was no talking in that room when the act was happening. But I think actually, as a matter of fact, when I came back that night back to the bar, because I walked back after that happened and bought my friend some shots there. I think there was another guy. I think there was like a basketball tournament in town that weekend. And there was a very sexy man there that I talked to and we made out for a while.
And he also paid you to...
No, unfortunately.
No one's ever paid me to jerk off at me or for anything else.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Try harder.
Why am I not? Am I not hot enough?
No, you're not tragic enough.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
All right.
They can sense tragedy, these men.
They're like, you deserve money.
Yeah. He probably just felt really bad for me. Like, honestly. I also like would wear these like clip-in flowers in my hair because I thought it was going to be my thing. So that's
how long ago
tragic.
this was.
Yeah.
You've grown so much.
Literally, physically in size and pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
But yeah, lots of tragic stories we could go down and lots of scandals within the bar. But yeah, that's like how we had to do.
That's all you had
just
to do.
Meet
each
other. Yeah. Like Grindr wasn't a thing for quite a while after I had come out and was like doing drag and in the scene. And I mean, we would hook up with people in the bar all the time. Like and the DJ booth. And this was before the
DJ booth?
Yeah, this was before the DJ booth even had a door to it.
Oh, no.
So it was just like anyone could just walk up there at any point in time. And in fact, oh my God, I'm just spilling all the beans of these really awful
the bar
stories.
used to be so much cooler.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was very like taboo and silly. But my best friend at the time was the DJ. So I was always up in the booth anyways, like just requesting songs and whatever. And this guy that I always had found so attractive was up there and I just like came walking up behind him and I don't even know how it happened, but basically I unzipped his pants and started giving him oral sex right there in the DJ booth. Mind you, that night I had glitter lips. And then his boyfriend at the time, husband now, came walking in the bar while I was doing this. And my friend just turns around. He's like, Chloe, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And I just stopped. But like all my makeup from like this point down was gone and on him now. And it was going to be pretty obvious that it was me had done the act. And yeah, so.
Oh no.
Yeah, we used to do, I mean, literally, I remember my friend sucking this guy's dick right on the bar. Like he was just laying on the bar. She was sucking him off.
Now you have to go to certain bars in Minneapolis for that kind of fun.
Yeah. It was just, we would just do wild shit.
God. I was born in the wrong era.
You were. Yeah.
Meaning
I wish I had more time in that era of things because it was really fun and just you could be so silly.
That's what gay bars used to be like, and then it got ruined by cell phones.
Yeah.
What do you think of the idea of there's some clubs specifically that now go with a no phone policy? Like they make you either, I've seen it where they put a sticker over your phone cameras front and back, and then they'll kick you out if you have your phone out and the sticker's not there. Or some places will have like a bag, like a security bag, and you have to put your phone in there. So you can't use your phone at all while you're in the club, and they'll kick you out. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm not against it.
Because what I hear from, I forget, there was a brief moment where I was talking to this guy who had hopes to own a bar in Milwaukee, and he was telling me about how back in the 90s, clubs were so much cooler and they had this like mystique of being dangerous and being like sexy and fun because no one had phones, no one had cameras, on you at all times. So you could just do shit like that in the bar, and it was a little more fun and free and dangerous, honestly.
Yeah.
And his whole thing with, if he was going to own this club, he wanted to do a no phones policy thing with either the sticker or the bag. And I really like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we could use that again, I think.
Yeah. There's a bar in the Twin Cities I go to occasionally that it's a little more risque, and they have a very strict no phones policy on the risque nights. So
I love that.
Yeah. It's fun. We'll ban phones at
different establishments
around town on fun nights. Cause like I would like to do a leather night in Eau Claire. I don't know that we have the people for it.
They used to do them at Scooters up until like right before COVID.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was like 5 people, but they did them.
They work.
There's people in every fetish in this town, you know?
That's true. They're just hard to find.
True.
We are nearing the end of the episode, so we have a couple listener letters. One will prompt discussion, and one is just a nice little thing. Okay. This one comes from Maddie, friend of the pod. The subject line is trap shooting. So first of all, absolutely love your podcast and the EC representation. Thank you. Second of all, I am notoriously scared of learning how to use a gun because it just emanates condescending, parentheses, probably Republican, white dudes. But if there was a gay trap shooting club, I would be so there. Hashtag make it happen 2025. XOXO Maddie. So
yeah.
Thank you, Maddie. It's going to happen.
It's happening, Maddie.
And that's why we're doing it, is to take that trauma and repackage it into danger for other people, because we're the ones with the guns now.
Yeah.
And, but we're responsible with them. So
partially,
mostly.
Yeah.
I'll teach you about gun safety. Don't worry. Have you ever shot a gun before?
I've not a real gun. I've shot a BB gun.
Okay. Well,
not the same.
Shotguns are different.
Yep.
And you'll learn how to shoot a shotgun when we start trap shooting.
Yep.
I am starting to look into it.
Good.
So, okay. And then the next one, the next listener letter, subject line is proposal. Why the gay community should embrace golf. Hi, Chance and Travis, longtime listener, first time caller. I believe you two need to dissect golf and the LGBTQ. Golf is a social, aesthetic, and transformative experience waiting to be claimed by the gays. The gay community can redefine country club culture, making it inclusive, vibrant, and modern. Here's why. Style and activity. Golf celebrates individuality and style, providing the perfect canvas for preppy, chic outfits. I don't know about that. Sunday mornings in tailored polos, patterned shirts, and tasteful accessories that seamlessly combine fashion and function. Let's discuss that. Polos? No.
Well, here's the thing. As a plus size gal, polos tend to be a very normal thing amongst the big and tall section. If you've never had to
shop there,
enter there, which is lucky for you, it's Adidas t-shirts and polos. So whatever. Okay. I think the thing about maybe golf and gays is that it just seems too obvious. You know,
you think so?
I think it's just like golf is so fucking gay. that it's like
you're hitting balls with sticks.
Yeah, and like you're dressing like a I don't know what I was gonna say, but it wasn't good. But I mean, I just feel like
dressing like a
maybe. But I think it's just such an obvious sport for the gays to take over.
Interesting.
That we could just do it and it would
it almost be camp to take it over?
Yeah.
Because my problem with the argument of fashion is, no, I don't think of golf as fashionable. However, I do think I would look cute in the women's golf uniform. Little skirt, little polo, cute little gloves, visor.
Yeah, I think the fashion of golf is pretty gay. And I think, I don't know what it is. I just find I have a hard time with sports in general. I think they're all boring. So,
and I think golf is exceptionally boring, but the argument I get a lot when straight friends ask if I want to go golfing is that you can just ride around in the cart and drink while they hit the balls.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know what it is. I'm just lazy too. Golfing, I guess, could be a lazy person's sport.
It's not much movement.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not a gay thing. We could take it over.
Well, here's another argument for why we should take it over. The social experience.
Yeah.
Fuck brunch. Let the white girls own it. Few sports lend themselves to quality social time like golf. Rounds take 3 to 4 hours, creating perfect setting, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Pair that with mimosas or post-game Bloody Marys, and you have better time outside than on the patio. I get it, but brunch, food.
I think that whoever this listener is
our friend 41 Forever Alone who wrote into Dear Chloe last week.
I just don't like, I'm just the type of person where it's like, unless I've come up with it myself, I don't want to do it.
That's fair.
Like, if I came up with the idea of golf being the thing I want to do, then I think it's cool and I want to do it, but I didn't think of it, so it's not cool to me.
All right. I think that's that.
But maybe at some point I'll think it's a cool thing and I'll want to do it. But
well, let's see it. If we hear from our listeners that there's as much support for the gays taking over golf as there is for gay trap shooting, we'll think about it.
But doesn't trap shooting sound way cooler than golfing?
Yeah, 100%. I think golf is stupid. I think golf is boring. I think golf is bad for the environment. I actually think golf courses should be banned. Legitimately. They're giant wastes of water.
Okay.
Huge. It's just a giant fucking lawn, and people having lawns should also be banned, by the way. Environmentalism.
I don't care about the environment because I'm only going to be alive for a few more years, and
yeah,
I don't have kids.
You'll be dead long before the water wars start.
Yeah.
But I might still be alive, so I'm a little bit concerned about it. I do have one bizarre grinder story that you reminded me of earlier.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was on the apps and this guy was talking to me. Well, we were talking and it was like, oh yeah, you want to hook up? And he's like, do you have a dog? I was like, no. And he's like, oh, yeah, let's hook up. And then I realized, oh, he wanted the dog to fuck him.
Oh my.
He was asking to be knotted, as they call it.
I don't like that.
I don't
know
either.
what that means. I don't want
It means
to know
getting
what it
fucked by a dog.
Okay. Well, that's you young kids in your slang terms. You could just say he wanted to get fucked by a dog. Knotted doesn't have to be a thing.
It's the internet. It's not just me.
You could just say what it is. You don't have to come up with another term for it. It's okay to just say dog fucker and not say knotted. You're so young.
Thank you for listening to this.
Keep trying to invent that wheel. Keep trying to invent that wheel, kids.
Thank you for listening to another
still a wheel.
Wonderful episode of Small Town Big Gays. Find us on social media at STBG Pod. Email us smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Over and over.